Okay, so here we're going to look at what relates to homework 6.2. We're going to be evaluating um, for a given value. And this is something we've actually done before. I've had you do this in class, and basically it's just a matter of following order of operations, right? So again, we want to keep those in mind. And we're substituting in a value for a variable, and we're going to math our way to the answer. So sometimes it's not always obvious what they're asking. They give us the expression in function form. So you might see f of x, g of x, or things like that. A lot of times you might see this. And then I'll do this example here. Again, one I stole from the homework. It'll say evaluate this, and then it'll show you that. So what that means is that you see here, this is f of x, and then here, rather than having x, they were replacing x with a number. And that's what they want you to do here. They want you to replace x with this number, math away, and then see what number it is, okay? So this is saying 5 times x squared, and so we're going to square whatever x is. So if x is -5, we want to remember when we square that, it's doing -5 times -5, like that. So you want to kind of think of things in parentheses in that manner. Okay, so now it's simplification. So we replaced all these x's, these two x's, with -5. And now we'd follow order of operations. So before this is being multiplied, right? Before we multiply, we have to do exponents. So we're going to do this first. So -5 squared is positive 25. -5 times -5 is positive 25. Okay. This is being multiplied, so we can say 4 times -5. And the last here we have to do is multiply this, 5 times 25. And just so I'm pretty sure I know what it is, but just in case, without the handy dandy calculator. 5 times 25, we get 125. And then we could keep this as plus -20, or we can just say -20, it means the same thing. -5. So we're at 125 minus 20 minus 5. So, okay, from at this point, if you want to just put this in your calculator, right? 125 minus 20 minus 5, and we get 100. If you had kept the plus negative, you would have gotten the same result. If you do 125 plus -20 minus 5, you still get the same thing. Okay? All right, let's do another example, because it does get a little tricky sometimes with the way it's shown to us. So if you end up taking college algebra at some point, whether with me or with somebody else, we're going to see these functions a lot. And knowing what this means, it makes a big difference, okay? So this is saying we're going to take x squared and square it, and then we're going to make it change the sign. We're going to make it negative or opposite of what it is, okay? So we're going to take this and substitute in the value of 1. Okay? So we're going to evaluate this function, and when x, instead of x being x, x is going to be 1, okay? And the difference between this one, this situation, and what we did up here, right? You don't see this is a negative 5 times x squared. You see this as 5 times x squared. So you can kind of think of this as a negative 1 times x squared. We're going to put 1 in for x, square it, and then multiply it by that negative 1. So I just replaced this x with 1, this x with 1, and then, again, I still have that minus 7 there. So 1 squared is 1 times 1, which is 1. It's kind of redundant. So negative 1 times 1, negative, oops, plus 1, sorry, minus 7. So these two are opposites, right? You lose 1, you gain 1, these cancel each other out. And so this will be like 0 minus 7, which is negative 7. And then you'll see application problems, especially for you business people. This is a really important element of algebra for business. In theory, if you run a business, you want to make a profit. If you are making things and selling them, then there's always some sort of cost to making that product. And then you sell it, right? And then hopefully you gain a profit. So knowing what that would be is done through algebra. And that is usually how you come up with your profit function, your cost function, and your revenue function, okay? That's gonna be a little bit down the road, but this is why for you business majors, you're gonna have to have a strong understanding of how math works on your own. All right, so let's say we have a profit function. Yes, I stole this from the homework. Okay, so here's a function in the profit function for selling, let's call it for selling toilet paper. Okay. So if we know how much it's going to cost us to make this, then we can get our profit function or profit number from that. So if we're going to replace this P with, let's say, $40, okay? So if we want the cost to be 40, that means we're going to replace this P with 40 and that P with 40. And then again, it's just a matter of order of operations. Again, we do exponents before we multiply, okay? And then, so we're going to do this first in our calculator. Do 40 squared, which is 1600. And we could do this right here. We can do 260 times 40. Big number, 10,400. Okay. Now we have to multiply this together. Get negative 6,400. And then we add in that. Okay. So we're at negative 6,400. We're going to hit plus 10,400. And then we get final answer of 4,000. Okay. So evaluating for a variable is something we've done before, and it's just a matter of making sure you follow order of operations. Other than that, that's all it is.